Hi, this is Addison. I'm here to talk to you today about cutlery handles and how Cutco stands a cut above everyone else. We're going to be going over a few different handles and types of materials and benefits and disadvantages. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the tang. So you'll notice on this knife, it has a full tang. So what that is the metal of the blade runs all the way to the end of the handle. So that's going to give you a better balance of your knife. It's also going to make it sturdier. It means the handle won't get loose as quickly. It's not going to wobble as much. With a partial tang, like you have on this knife, you'll notice it's really light, so you can feel there's not as much metal in there. It's not going to be as well balanced, and it's going to wobble quicker. So as you're cutting, especially with wood handles, with a partial tang, it's going to start wobbling. You're not going to get a straight cut. You're going to have to, use two hands, make sure it's in the right position. So that's what you're going to get with a partial tang. And as you can see, this is what some companies do. They might throw an edge around it, but it's still hollow, so you're still not going to have that balance. Also, the rivets on there, which I'm going to talk about in a second, aren't going to keep it secure, so you're still going to wobble. The handle's still going to fall apart pretty quick. It's probably not dishwasher safe. So as you can see here, these rivets, this is another full tang blade. So the rivets are actually a good thing. They keep the handle in place for longer. But as you can see with these rivets, they're discolored, they're brass. A lot of wood handles use brass just for style, but brass wears away really quickly, it discolors, so it's not going to stay good for as long. And also, like I mentioned with the partial tangs, a lot of people will throw rivets on just for style. They don't actually do anything, they're just glued on there. So they give the appearance of durability, but it'll still fall apart fairly quickly. The next handle I'm going to talk about is kind of an odd shape. It has a taper, so at the front it's thicker, at the back it's thinner. It's also a partial tang, so you can see these rivets, they're discolored. Everything, all the disadvantages of really the previous knives we've talked about. But also because of the shape, it's square and tapered, it's going to slip really easily out of your hand. So it's another disadvantage of having a just square blade or a square handle, which you can see all of these have. They're not really ergonomically shaped, they're just flat on the edges. So all of them are going to slip more like that. So you can see this handle, it's a little different than all these others. It's actually rounded, it has some knobs on there. It's trying to fix that slip, right, that slipping problem, but it's not very ergonomic. You're not going to be able to grip it like you want to grip a normal knife. You're going to have to grip it almost like a baseball bat, and that's going to be uncomfortable for you as you're working. So the Cutco, how we fix that, we have the Wedge Lock design. So what it does is it lets your hand sit in a comfortable place, and it locks the forefinger and the thumb so that it fixes that slipping, even when wet. And the next quality that our handles have, they're all, whether white, red, or black, made of Thermo Resin. So that material doesn't chip, it doesn't crack, it's dishwasher safe. It's a much more durable material. You can see with cheaper plastics, you get handles that melt really easily. They'll fall apart. They're not dishwasher safe. So the last thing about the handles is they do have a full tang. All of our blades, so they're well balanced. Our rivets are also silver nickel alloy, so they don't rust, they don't discolor. 50, 60 years into the future, they're still going to be good. They're still going to be presentable. And just to show you kind of the difference in the quality of our handle versus maybe a steel handle, we're actually going to get hands wet and just see how well these blades slip. So with the wedge lock design, right, your thumb and forefinger locks into the front of the blade, and even when your hands are wet, it doesn't move. But with something like a steel handle, you're going to have a lot more slippage because of the material, and if it doesn't have that ergonomic design, there's nothing to lock your fingers in place, so it's just going to fall out of your hand. Same thing with the wooden handle that's tapered. Because it's smooth wood, because your hands are wet, it's going to slip really easily, which is a safety hazard. So that's the Cutco handle, the wedge lock design, and that's why Cutco stands above all others in every aspect of performance.